Hi Capricorn, welcome to your end of November 2021 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Oops, put it in the... Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. The heart of the matter is the Moon card. In this deck, the Moon and Stars Tarot, they have keywords for every card, and they chose misinterpretation for the Moon card. This is because the Moon can indicate confusion, sometimes deception, and sometimes when you are deceived, you know how they talk about self-deception or delusion. The misinterpretation is almost chosen. It's almost like a person wants to believe what they want to believe. So you may be with someone who is not being straight with you, but it can also be the case that you know in your heart of hearts what's really happening, and you're choosing to accept this deception on some level. And I actually got this Five of Swords, which is another card that kind of goes along with that. And the Five of Swords sometimes can point to more than one person who is involved in all of this. The Moon card, too, can be that there's not full information about something. We are on the cusp of a lunar eclipse in Taurus, which is a fellow earth sign to Capricorn. And this is going to be in your fifth house of love. And I know there's other things too. Creativity is another area. But think about that. I mean, my gosh. So a lunar eclipse in a house that's connected to love, whether it's the fifth house or the seventh house, can indicate that there's like irrefutable evidence that comes in that you have to accept about something. And maybe that's, I was thinking in terms of the deception angle, but just the moon itself, the fact that there's maybe that's like a timing card. I'm just, the moon card is actually connected to Pisces in the tarot, which is weird because the moon rules your opposite sign of Cancer in astrology. So maybe one of those signs are involved in your life in a particular way right now, Capricorn. In the past position, we have the Eight of Wands, which is kind of like described as speed by this particular deck. I would elaborate and say it's speed. Something is like speeding up, but I would say after a lull in the action. So the speed, it's like everything starts to happen at once, but it's almost like now it's gone in the other direction, where maybe you had this kind of lull in the action, and then all of a sudden you had all this stuff happening. So how that can, and a lot of messages, a lot of things. So maybe you were, some of you are out of work, or, trying to find work, and you were trying to contact an employer that you had applied, and there was some kind of like mixed messages or something, and all of a sudden, I'm going to say like things just kind of like getting bombarded with a lot of offers after you have been waiting maybe for somebody to respond, and then all of a sudden you get all these things at the same time, and it creates that kind of confusion, because it's like, now what do I do? And also, like, if you have gotten involved with somebody, maybe a fire sign like Aries in particular, because Aries is very impatient. It's also a cardinal sign like you are, Capricorn. You might feel that things were going too quickly. And it's like you didn't know, and that's what this is. You know, not having that information. Sometimes the other person is pushing that relationship to be, you know, let's, you know, move in together after a month and these crazy things like that, because of their instability. And you realize now you don't know what's going on. The higher message is the Knight of Swords, and they mention drama. I would say with the Knight of Swords, more than just drama, that you might be dealing with someone who isn't ready for commitment. And so they have commitment issues, intimacy issues. So they come on strong, or maybe even playing mind games. They come on strong because they don't know how to be real in a relationship. I don't know how to articulate that in the best way possible. But sometimes these people that it's like they're doing things in a way that's very haphazard. They're not really embodying what they claim to be. They're like kind of on the surface. And that they always talk about like narcissistic behavior being like this. People, and you could say drama, people who don't know how to feel, they do create drama in order to, you know, approximate feeling. And you might, depending on what you've got going on, you might mistake drama for passion. And that would be a huge mistake, because you'll find out that people like this have no intention of really committing. Everything they're doing is playing games and that kind of thing. What crosses you is Seven of Wands, resilience. I always see the Seven of Wands in the upright position as standing your ground. In the challenge position, it can be that you are in a vulnerable state, that you have your defenses down for some reason. And sometimes that might be the Nine of Wands. The Seven and the Nine of Wands are so similar to me. And it's so important that you do what's best for you. And with the Moon card, you may be somebody may be playing with your mind, okay? And playing with your emotions. And you don't know which end is up. And whether this is a potential boss, somebody who's like promising you the moon and the stars, pardon the pun, that's the name of this deck, or a potential partner or a current partner. And you may want to believe it more than anything in the world, but you just don't know. You don't know what's really true. You don't know what's really not true. What's coming in is the Five of Swords. Interesting that they say revenge. I've never heard the Five of Wands described as revenge. Never. And I'm not saying that it can't be. But what I think the Five of Wands is, if we take, you know, them separately, the number 5 is a number of communication, okay? And I'm sorry, I said Wands. It's 5 of Swords. And Swords is all about, it can be conflict. And I think that's why they had the Knight of Swords drama, because there's like the strife that is going on. But really, it's about communication and thoughts. And the funny thing about it is, the reason that I think the Five of Swords is associated with kind of like this negative concepts is because there's like, a changeability with the number 5. And so, you know how when somebody is two-faced, first they say one thing to one person, they say it to another person, and that's what this card can represent too, is like being two-faced, gossip, and that kind of thing. And I wouldn't say it's specifically revenge. I would say it's more like, what's the word? It's slander, but it's like lies, verbal negativity directed maybe at you, but not always to your face. Okay? So this is why with the Moon card, you may be feeling that something is going on, but you can't put your finger on it. And so for this to come in, it means that I feel like you're going to figure out who's doing what. And while it may make you feel like you understand a little bit more what's going on, it's not necessarily going to make you feel better, because you may feel like sad that somebody is doing this, but you have to know the truth, because things may have moved too quickly. And for some reason, because usually Capricorn people are very cautious, so I don't know why there would be this chance that you would do that, but maybe if you just like fell in love very quickly or something like that, or somebody promised you something very lucrative like a job that you couldn't say no to, and then you're kind of like, okay, when is this going to really happen? It seems like there's always these excuses. I think that could be it too, is that you're always getting like the runaround, okay? The outcome is the Page of Pentacles. It's funny that they say prospects. The page can be a message. You may receive a message that is coming. Maybe this is going to be from a different employer. So maybe the person that you thought you were going to work for, you're not. And it's going to end up being somebody else. Page of Pentacles can also be money that comes to you, maybe through the mail. And I don't think it's as big a thing as the Ace of Pentacles, but it's something especially for I think Page of Pentacles can also be the student. And so that might be something that you have as a plan B. And maybe that was always going to be. It's like, either I'm going to work here, I have these options, or I'm going to go back to school. Or I'm going to go to school, period. I thought I was going to go to school, but it's going to be something where you're starting some new thing. And the attitude is that you want to better yourself financially. In terms of relationships, this could be a new relationship with a fellow earth sign, either Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. Or that this is a very stable relationship. So unlike the Knight of Swords, this isn't a drama-filled relationship. This is more of a grounded relationship. Okay, that's what I have for you, Capricorn. I hope that this resonated. If you'd like a personal reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.